Is it true that the walima signifies the consummation of a marriage? Not necessarily, because it's possible for a man to marry a woman and she's upon her menstruation. So he hasn't consummated the marriage, but the walima is the next day. So it's not always the case, but nevertheless the walima signifies the nikah, that the nikah has taken place, that this man has married this woman. So therefore they are now married, and the Prophet of Allah ﷺ said, announce the marriages. Not permissible to keep the marriages hidden. So the general rule is that the marriages must be announced, they can't be hidden. So therefore the walima is a time of celebration, a time of the man being happy and the woman being happy that they've married each other. The family is celebrating in the walima, and they eat and they feed the people that they invite to their marriages, and so on and so forth. Wallahu a'lam. If a husband speaks to the women on the internet, and he says that he is only helping them, advising them, and they constantly PM him with their personal problems, what should the wife do, as the jealousy is eating away at her? Then basically it is, if your husband is a person of knowledge, and a talibul ilm, then there is no harm if he is able to control himself, and he is not from those people that cannot control his desires, and he speaks beyond the limit that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has placed upon him, and he goes beyond and transgresses beyond that which is needed in the conversation, and he is not from the tulab al-ilm, and he is not from those people who has knowledge in these affairs, then what he should do is not involve himself in these affairs. Rather, if the sister wishes to be advised and the scholars are present, and those marakis and those centers of learning and salafiyah around the country are present, that she can ring, which is a public arena, in the sense that there are certain numbers and certain emails that are available from those well-established brothers and du'at and scholars, that the woman can approach and she can ask her questions through that. Rather than your husband, if he's not from those people, that he establishes himself for that. However, if he is from those people who have some knowledge with him, he has some sharing knowledge and in the affairs of the women's issues, and he has some sharing knowledge in terms of that he's a talibul ilm, well known amongst the brothers and well known amongst the community as a salafi, da'iyah, then it is permissible for him to answer those questions, but limiting himself only to the answer. And I advise in this situation that when he's answering the questions and when those PMs are coming, that that his wife is sitting next to him. So this cuts off all of the abwab of fitna that the shaitan may open for him, that the devil may open for him. So they are cut off. And inshallah, probably the last question. Regarding the attraction between the husband and wife, should there be attraction before the marriage, or is it something built upon after marriage? Because a brother and sister hardly know each other before the marriage, and on occasions they only meet each other twice. Then with regard to the meetings, or regard to attraction before marriage, then there should be some attraction between the man and the woman before the marriage, in the sense that he finds her to be attractive and he finds her to be attractive. And the Prophet ﷺ obligated upon the men to go and look at the face of the woman before marrying her. As the Prophet ﷺ ordered one of the companions, when one of the companions from the Ansar came to the Prophet ﷺ, and he said, I am about to marry such and such a woman. So the Prophet ﷺ said, have you seen her? He said, no. He said, go and look at her. Go and see her, for verily there is something in the eyes of the Ansari women. So the Prophet ﷺ commanded him to go and look at her. In another narration, the Prophet of Allah ﷺ sent a companion to go and see a woman that he had not seen for the purposes of marriage. So he entered into the house, and he said, indeed the Prophet of Allah ﷺ has commanded me to look at your daughter before marriage. So the mother and father were taken aback. So the woman, the daughter herself, she pulled across the screen and she said, the Prophet of Allah has commanded him, and therefore who am I now to withhold the command or withhold myself from this man? So she showed her face, and she revealed her face to this companion of the Prophet ﷺ. So this shows that the seeing of the face, at the very least, it is obligatory. Seeing the face for what? That she's a human? No, we know that she's a human. Seeing the face so that there is some attraction, and there is some beauty in the face that attracts him to the woman. And likewise the statement of the Prophet ﷺ, there is something in the eyes of the Ansari women, meaning that there is something by way of defect in their eyes. So look at her, because maybe you won't be pleased with the defect that they have in their eyes. So therefore, the looking at the eyes or looking at the face of the woman is by way of attraction. In the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, when he said, look at her, up until you have the desire to marry her. So attraction is important. Is it the most important thing? No. The most important thing is the deen and character. That's the most important thing. Because beauty is something that is superficial, no doubt. It is skin deep. But the character and religion, it is something that remains. It is something that is steadfast in the hearts. Something that is established in the souls of the people. So the most important thing without doubt is religion and character. But this does not mean that the beauty is unimportant. It is important. So the woman, you should marry a man that is at least some way attractive towards you. That you find him somewhat attractive. But the most important thing is the issue of the Salafiyah. An issue of character. That is the most important thing. And then after that, the rest of the things. Such as him being able to provide for you. Such as him being attractive. Such as you finding him attractive, and so on and so forth. And vice versa. So these are all important factors. And therefore, if you do not find a man attractive, and you don't find him to be a person that you can live with, in a sense of, that when you look at him, as in the hadith, that is reported in Ibn Majah, that a female companion, she married a man, she said, Wallahi, I did not see deficiency in his religion. He has good religion. And I do not see deficiency in his character. But rather, she didn't find him attractive. And in one of the narrations she said, by Allah, when I used to look at him, that I would have spat in his face. Because she did not find him attractive. Which was the taqwa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that prevented her from doing so. So then she went to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, are you willing to return the dowry that he gave to you? She said, yes. He said, well, return. And then he called the man, he said, return to her, she will return to you the dowry, and divorce her upon that. So therefore, in this regard, we see that it does, attraction and beauty does play a part, but nowhere near the part that religion and character plays. Because a man could be attractive and beautiful, or a woman could be extremely beautiful and attractive, but if she has no deen and no character, then there is no worth in marrying her. She has no deen and no character, no worth in marrying her. And likewise, a man could be extremely attractive to the woman, but he has no religion and no character, then there is no benefit in marrying him. And we'll conclude there inshallah in this lecture. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, wa sallallahu ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. Wallahu subhanahu wa ta'ala a'lam, wa subhanahu wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.